And we're having a grand old time before we start this week on Carnival of Randomness. Always on Get Mad Radio.
Get Mad.
Co-host, I'm the host, shut up.
Okay.
And at Get Mad Radio and other formats wide spanning the globe. And it's your ever-loving blue-eyed host, well, sort of blue-eyed, Rob, talking. And actually, Greg, since you talked, I've heard rumors you're going to start a reimagining of an old show. It's going to be called Have Drum Will Travel.
Yeah. I'm going to snare an open time slot.
Well, we're very thrilled to have our guest, and we're actually going to... It seems this is going to spin out into, like, just writing jingles. But I'm very, very happy to welcome one of my favorite bands from around here, and you have to check them out whenever they play. It's the Ginger Faye Bakers, or is it just Ginger Faye Bakers?
It's the.
Yeah, hi, guys.
Gotta have it.
And we have... let's see if I'm terrible. We have Alex. Under the. We have Alex, Nate, and Billy. Glad to see you guys.
Thank you.
Now,
Thank you.
I have to ask the deep question nobody's ever asked before. How'd you come up with the name?
Well, it was
never heard that one.
It's kind of just a gag, really. Tim, our bass player, is not here today. We love you. Miss you, Tim. Just trying to think of funny names. We love Cream. We love weird, kind of celebrities who obviously have had issues, like Tammy Baker. So, yeah, kind of culty. I just thought it kind of just went together well. And band names are weird. It's like,
kind of like a mix of
I always
tabloid
say,
and
we had others, like Stavros was one we thought of. Well, that's the name of our mannequin now.
Yeah, he's a good boy.
Just silly. I mean, not take it too seriously.
No, I always say the only advice I've ever given for names, and like for this show, I'm trying to think of a name, thinking like Carnival of Randomness. Why Carnival of Randomness? Why? Why not?
Why not?
There you go. Why not?
It seemed like it fit, but only advice I ever give is I would say whatever the name is, that it looks good on a T-shirt.
Yeah,
right.
That's the big thing, because you want to be selling the T-shirts.
Well, you're printing by letter. We probably didn't do so well with that. But
just to shorten it, Faye.
Yeah,
but I like
GFB.
GFB.
But I think of like the Brian Jonestown Massacre.
More similar in that vein.
Like that. Martin Luther.
Well, that's the merch.
Martin Luther.
REO Speed Dealer.
In the checkout.
But that's what I think. But how did this all begin for you guys?
Well, Tim and I we grew up together. We went to high school together in a small town up in northern New York, and we played in bands when we were teenagers up there, and then we kind of both just ended up in Rochester around the same time, and we just started playing music again. Tim was playing in like different bands. I was playing in this other band, and we just thought, let's just start playing music together.
That happens a lot, playing in different bands together.
Right. And, being kind of new to the area, not knowing anybody way back when, it was just kind of the two of us. And so, I mean, we had two other drummers before we met Billy. And, and then the rest is history. And it just really kind of clicked once Billy kind of came on the scene. And, it's been awesome.
Yeah, I think if you do 6 Degrees of Separation for bands with that man down there, Greg, I don't know who he doesn't play with.
Well, drummers are important. Sorry,
yeah, they are.
You get the wrong guy, it doesn't propel anything.
It does, and it makes a huge difference in like the dynamic of the band. And the other two drummers we had were great, but they were just different, and in just different ways. And so it's definitely, I think, improved the band more so than anything.
We were talking about that in our last show about
the
intangible things of music, like different styles. You can't pinpoint it. You can't really describe it, but people don't fit. And then one person or two people, wow, they just click.
Yeah, some things just work. And, I think, Billy, you saw our friend Nick recently, and he was talking about how, we're all one and the same person almost.
Yes.
So we're all, nice. Billy and Tim and myself, we're all very similar people. Not similar people, but you get it. We're just gelled as personalities, too. Right. And then Alex, of course, came along here. He's a fantastic piano organ player, and so we invited him to come in and jam with us and play some shows.
Do you have classical background or jazz background or what?
Nope. I just
play?
I just go
press some keys and see what happens.
Yeah, that was why I was like addicted to Jolt Cola and caffeine in college, because I had the one finger typing method, and I would be up
Coke
like,
piano.
Class starts at 8:30.
I had a half a can
Then you get whiteout in my day.
Yep.
And you're like, if then class starts, it's like 8:30. You're done at 8, speeding down there.
Yeah. There's something to be said for caffeine.
Caffeine is great.
Yeah.
That's actually a good
Try to have
point.
it in my daily life.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually a good point to
Play
bring
faster.
Mm-hmm.
You can get some like vibrato going.
Yeah.
You know what? That's actually an idea. Music by caffeine. Like if you're doing slow jazz, you don't drink caffeine.
Mm-hmm.
If you're doing speed metal, you find some Jolt Cola.
Well, then you just do speed.
I was just going to say, step it up
It's
to
in the
amphetamines or whatever.
Soda's not caught in.
Yeah. So
You
you
gotta go
don't
right
call
to
it
the
soda
powders.
metal.
Yeah.
That actually is a good point, though. We've been bringing this up lately, the difference between, like, training, like, bands, like, actually having musical training, playing in band, or learning on your own, and learning if you can read music or not. And I personally don't think it matters in a lot of ways. I mean, yeah, you have to read music if you want to be a professional, like in an orchestra or something.
Right.
But how did you come about playing yours? You said, Alex, you just sort of, like, picked it up by...
I just play by ear, but I can read music too. But I didn't take lessons.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah.
That's pretty
I just
cool.
figured it out.
It's like the Eddie Van Halen story, which I thought was like, well, Eddie Van Halen's up here, obviously. But he couldn't read music, and he fooled his piano player because he just watched him and then repeated his notes.
Yeah.
Right, yeah. No, I never took lessons, guitar lessons or anything. But I think we all played in, like, school band.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I played trombone, all the way from, like, 4th grade to being a senior in high school.
Yep.
So that's like invaluable, like your ear and kind of your sense of timing and choices you make.
How to play
really,
an ensemble.
Yeah, it really does make a difference having that. I mean, training, quote unquote. It's not.
Well, your
rock
training
band
is training.
right? And that
Yeah.
and that you can hear it, but it doesn't mean that you're going to make the best art or the best music just because you've played in school band or anything. But I think it certainly helps.
I think, too, also the other side helps, too, where you're not structured. You're going about this a different way.
Yeah.
On your own, you can become more creative. And if I think of any word to describe this band, it's creative.
Oh.
And I always say, I don't know what to describe your music as, but it's very smart in a way.
Oh.
Because it is, seriously. Because you're coming up with, like, some of the song titles and some of the songs about it.
Oh, yeah.
But they're not stupid, though, because it's not like, oh, this is just dumb. I'm just
I like
saying
humor,
they're clever.
humor inspired.
Well, our thing was, like, Nate always said that musically we wanted to be able to have an 8th or a 9th grader be able to play our guitar parts. We don't want it to be too involved, too noodly. Simplify it because it's going to catch on to more people. And then I think because Tim and Nate and I, yes, are all cut from the very same cloth, we have a very similar set of influences, whether it's like the Beatles or Black Sabbath, but then we can also put on like some really cheesy hair metal, like Winger, Dawkins, on car rides and Rat, and
Listen
just
to the whole
be really into it.
Van Hagar catalog from front to back. There's a certain soft spot we have for all that music.
I got to give a shout out to my friend Rob Mount because now he's the drummer in the band Nelson.
Okay. See, Nelson, I just read about
And
Nelson
they
on
are
Blabbermouth.
on right now. He just took off. They were just rehearsing in Natchez and Florida. They're doing a Monsters of Rock tour. So I saw the band listing of these bands and what you were just talking
it's like
about.
Warrant and
these the ones I never heard of, like Kix.
Yeah,
Oh,
Kix.
Kix.
No, everybody
Trickster.
said Kix is great.
Trickster, yeah.
Serial
Kix,
Knight, too.
Yep, Striper. But they're Christian. So.
Bullet Boys, that's my shit.
My Sirius radio in the car is like pretty much either on Radio Classics, because I like old radio shows, or the hair metal, Hair Nation.
Yeah.
You're a Hair Nation guy?
Hair Nation,
That's
yeah.
cool.
But you ever have like the problem in high school? Like I've said before the show, I grew up. My brother is in a local band. They play Scourges a lot, so I knew like the alternative music. But like when you're in high school, you have to have your genre.
Yeah.
And yeah, I liked Iron Maiden and everything, but if you were caught like trying to listen, still remember in gym, I'm talking to someone about how I had a new Gun Club tape.
Oh, yeah.
That's awesome.
And somebody's looking at me because my brother loved Jeffrey Lee Pierce.
Yeah.
But I see one of my friends overheard me. It's like, he's on the list. He's
That's
a traitor. It's like, all you need to do is find out that I had a Coltrane album, too.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool that we probably grew up similar because pre-internet mostly, all that stuff.
Right.
But yeah, you find those people, you find your tribes, and it's almost like a secret language.
Well, what we would do, we'd go down to
that,
Lakeshore
That's a
Record
good point.
Exchange and go down there, and like somebody would like, and in the day too, you'd look just, wow, this album cover is cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And somebody's like, what are you digging now? This was our internet, okay?
Yeah.
And I still do this to this day. Like when I see friends who are musicians, what are you listening to now? Instead of like looking online.
Yeah.
But that's like somebody would get one album. Oh, you got to check out this band. It's great. Pass it around.
Mm-hmm.
Except for ELO, everybody had to get the thing because a little spaceship.
I think my personal observation with music was like Nate and I were both born in 1980, so we're like kind of on that cusp of millennial or Gen X, and like he had an older brother where I had younger siblings, so like a lot of his taste could be informed by having that older sibling. Same with my wife, like they're into Star Wars, they've seen it a million times, or I didn't really have that because I had kids or younger kids in my house listening to New Kids on the Block, and then eventually Green Day and The Offspring.
I like Offspring.
But like with the older siblings, you hear the Van Halens or the Guns N' Roses or Rat.
Tom Petty.
Yeah.
I mean, just having an older brother really, he turned me on to a lot of stuff, like Van Halen. Like, that was like the biggest thing ever. I remember the first time hearing 1984. I stole his tape out of his room and played it on my boombox. He kept asking me, "Where's my tape?" And I don't know. But yeah, all that stuff. It just turned on. The Beatles, Zeppelin, all that stuff. I would have never heard.
The memories I have of like the first car I ever had, and I was so proud of it because I had my dishwashing money and I bought my own car. How many tapes? It ate.
Oh, dude.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I had a Geo Prism that I loved, and I had Metallica's Ride the Lightning, and they're stuck. It wouldn't come out. So every time you got in the car, you had to listen to it. I'm glad it was that, not Styx, Mr. Roboto. I was although that's pretty cool, too.
I would be okay with that.
That would actually be a good, horror movie where it eats, the good tapes.
The good tapes, yeah. I'm glad that my...
Eat your fingers as you go to reach in and
it's
grab it
Hanson
out.
stuck in it. Bop's going to be playing forever when you drive.
The first crime is you had Hanson in your cassette player. That's an offense.
It's
pulled
a
over.
single, so it's only got the one song that plays
the
on
DJ remix on the side B.
It was like the one time I got I traveled a lot for business, and one time the van broke down. There's a place called New Hampshire, between Rome and here.
Okay.
So we get it towed, and somebody played Puerto Rican dance music all the way back to Rochester.
Sick, man.
And now one of my friends said, "No, you're paying." Tell them,
I'd be into Puerto Rican.
But I'd be there. I'm like, look, I'm into the experience. I write stuff. I like to get the weird experiences they make for more fun.
When I was growing up, I had a brother that was 10 years older than me. He was, actually a stepbrother, but that's the point. But so he was way older. So he was listening to stuff like Kingston Trio and Chad and Jeremy and Chad Mitchell, all this folk stuff. Yeah. So I started hearing all these harmonies, and that's how I got interested in singing and hearing harmonies. And next thing you know, I want to put harmonies on everything, and all that kind of stuff. So it's weird when you get exposed to certain things. And then I went into all the harder rock stuff, and I grew up with mostly top 40 radio stuff, and then I got more into the harder rock. And then when I went to college, I started getting into Weather Report and jazz.
That's fun.
What's fun now, though, is I have about a handful of friends still from high school, and I have a couple of friends that I've known since first grade, and they were all one of my friends gave me the phrase you were ahead of your time when people were making fun of you. Now they're all one of my friends now who would never listen to was all metal. Lucero's playing. I got to get tickets.
Lucero. Wow. One of my friends beat that band into the ground back into the day.
I'll say one thing for the 80s era, and I don't mean this in any disrespectful way, but I like the fact that they dressed up, their hair. I mean, I know it's cliche and all that, but then you get to the 90s, and some of these bands, they look like they lived in a dumpster for most of their lives. And I just don't,
Well, it's like the anti or the response to all that before. You
Got
know,
it. Yeah,
you
that makes
have the
sense,
one
but-
extreme of guys looking like superhero cartoons, and then
They ran out of Aquanet.
Right,
in
right,
Seattle.
and then it was like, okay, let's get back to street level rock and roll,
Right.
which I
good
love
point.
just as much. But I love all the cartoony bullshit. That can we swear on here?
Yes,
okay,
it's a
okay.
podcast.
All right,
People
so-
love that. Oh, yeah. You can say, no, the best. Yes. The best. Oh, whenever we have radio show hosts on here, they let loose because they can't do it on their show.
They're
you
like,
know,
I'm unchained. I can do it.
Yeah, right. Don't fucking chain me. Put me in a cage, dude.
That's like
Fuck the FCC.
I think that's like
You say that?
for Rochester. There's almost like a requirement. I call it your musician's union card. You have to be like in 10 bands.
Okay, so we all made it.
Yeah.
Because
I
we're all
found
in
that
10
was when I
bands.
used to live like in Alexandria, you'd be one band.
Yeah.
But here it's like, okay, who are you playing with now? And I've always asked Greg, did you ever start playing the wrong song from a different band?
I played the wrong ending sometimes.
Too many
And the other
bands up
thing,
there.
I think you really have it a lot, is you just lucked out to find the most important thing, chemistry.
Yeah.
It's like people to be weird with like me to be weird together.
Well, it's taken time. Like, so Alex has been in our orbit for probably 7 or 8 years, and we've known him for over 10. But it was a year ago where we're like, let's start just playing and add this extra ingredient and see how it sounds. And we've tried this before with other people, specifically on keys or guitar or bass when somebody's not around. But Alex, who is a little younger than us, comes from a totally different background, but also similar because we all kind of met up there later in life in terms of, some of the more obscure 60s. Where I guess what I'm trying to say is, like, the chemistry was immediate despite the differences in background or taste. Because he'll talk to you all day about, Kurt
About
Bedecker,
the Beach Boys.
Beach Boys. But we love all that,
We had
too.
another
It's just
hour to
never...
go.
There's that guy, Ben, we know, who likes the Beach Boys a little bit.
I've heard from this
Maury?
guy. Yeah.
I've never heard him talk about the Beach Boys.
No,
Never.
actually, that's the whole
That's really
point about
surprising.
too is, I've actually been in a little bit of orbit with Alex, because I'm actually, believe it or not, off the show, this is my superhero persona.
Oh, good.
Or super villain persona.
Okay.
But otherwise, I'm pretty shy if I don't know you. And I've always been sort of been in Alex's orbit because they're like friends like Ben, Katie, Maury, and that group I know a lot of. But I think the most I talked to you was you were one of the ticket guys at one of those submarine school things that you checked to see if I was on the list. Because I'm usually not somebody who will go up there and try to...
I probably got roped into working.
Because I'm just
Shocking,
somebody
again.
usually... I'm getting better now.
buddy.
I mean, how does the line always
Love
start?
you, Ben.
Hi, guys. You guys were great. Want to be on my podcast? That's how that's my pickup line for bands now. But usually I won't. If I sort of by osmosis, I meet people.
Sure. Yeah, you got it well.
But I've known, I always call it my class of 2012. That's when I met Katie. She was in Pleistocene. Maber and all those guys.
That was kind of a period where, like,
I caught
a
my
lot of
class
this stuff coalesced.
What happened to me was a band called My Plastic Son with Roy Stein. He was in my brother's band.
Oh, yeah.
And it had Sam Snyder, Kyle Vach. And I went to see them, and he sort of knew, me. But that's when I call it my class of 2012, when I met all those, that I don't know what you want to call it, that sort of, I don't like putting people in their groups, but what I would see, people I would see, and they would know each other and play together, like Maber, overhand Sam, Ben, Katie, Michaela, all those.
Yeah,
Pleistocene.
And
I love the shirt.
I'll use the word incestuous,
Yep.
but not in a negative way because it is just a lot
never
of people.
negative.
Why is that ever negative?
Hey, we're in the North, dude. It's fine.
It's cool, yeah.
No, but I've always...
but there is all that kind of just floating back and forth, and we've all done different. I mean, Alex especially, but Billy and myself, we've all done different bands with people and just different mixes, and it's fun.
You have to understand, we're promoting your band and talking about that other, but this is random. So I have to ask a little bit, Alex, about how your Beach Boys influence it. This is an hour show, so keep it.
Well,
keep it lengthy, is what he's trying to say.
Speak for 17 minutes,
All right.
please.
So everyone sit back, relax.
Kick my feet out.
I mean, Nate was saying before about they keep it very simple, kind of riffy, which is great, because then I can come in and just add little stuff over the top of it with the organ or sometimes the synthesizer, and I think it just kind of gives it another flavor.
Yeah, it gives it another dimension for sure. Just adds everything.
Well, I think we
not that
Little
it's
weight to it.
one-dimensional, but
No.
you know, so
Yeah.
I can bring in these like things that they might not have thought of because they're just going for heavy guitar, and I can have like a little light thing on there. But lately, I like to like. I think sometimes people think of the keyboards as like kind of lightweight, but like I like to make it sound heavy, to match what they're doing, and I find a lot more fun in that. I like playing light stuff too, but you know, the harpsichord is not going to cut it.
I mean, maybe it will
Will
at some
day,
point.
some point, maybe we
Death
should do
harpsichord.
Figure out how to run it through a
Scandinavia.
fuzz box. And
Yeah.
we'll
Well,
be good.
we
We'll
can.
write a song.
We'll
for
do
it.
like a Stones type record, and we can harpsichord.
And I
on
think
it.
for the
There's
Beach
Satanic
Boys,
Majesty's third.
Yeah.
well, you know, if you want to do a
Didn't
Pet
Brian
Sound,
do the
That
second
was the
request?
second
request.
request.
if you want to do a Pet Sounds parody, there's Powers with like the llamas and everything down the street from here. If you want to do that.
I've been
I'd rather
field
do human
recording a lot
sounds.
of
Yeah.
Just
llamas
with the
and
humans
humans lately.
in a party.
Yeah, we talk about having a zoo full of boys, and
All right,
Nate actually just records his classroom, and
Yeah.
we're building some
Build it
content
up
here,
to it.
so it's good.
And I think
you want me to add a sampler to the rig?
I mean,
Yeah.
we probably should at some
no,
point.
and the Beach Boys too. Like when I grew up, you know, when you're a young kid, it's all the hits. And then, like, I met a friend of mine, David Aquesta, was like a huge Brian fan, and we would drive around, and he'd be calling it Surfer cool, which wasn't. It was dork cool, but you know, but so was I. And go around and doing about Brian. Then there's always like the dichotomy. I think like a lot of times the average person knows all the hits, thinks they're like a party band, but then there's like the deep stuff and the real. When I heard Pet Sounds for the first time.
What was that one song you did? Cool Drink of Water?
Yeah, that's from
Sunflower.
Sunflower.
Yeah.
And we got that,
That
but
smile though.
It was supposed to be.
Okay.
yeah, it was supposed to be. But so we should have Frown.
Frown, yeah.
We'll work on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'll be our tribute.
Yeah, it'll be like a response.
But I'm just thinking again, like seriously, this you have to have some. Believe it or not, guys, you do have to have some intelligence for the kinds of songs you write.
Oh.
Because they are smart. Like I said, if they were just goofy, but there's intelligence. It's like the Batman TV show.
Minimal, just slightly
appreciate
above
that.
lowest
Thank
common
you.
denominator, but thank you.
Thank
But
you.
I was just listening to what's the one, War Child's.
Back Off War Childs,
I'm
yeah.
terrible with names. I think
That's-
it's from Feast.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a
Yeah,
feast.
Yep.
I like that one a lot.
Honestly, when I joined the band, I saw their Craigslist ad. I'd moved to Rochester. I was living here for 6 or 7 months and kind of just wondering what I was going to do. And I saw their Craigslist ad, and then I went on their MySpace page because at the time it was all about MySpace.
Wow, I forgot all that.
I remember reading the song
so
titles
fair.
to one of my friends over the phone. I was like, well, they have this song called Back Off War Child, seriously, and another one called Song in the Key of Death. And he's like, yeah, I think you need to hang out with these guys. See what's good. And I was like, I think you're right.
I have one you
My
can check
language.
out sometime. Friends of mine, they're called the Bad Noffs.
Mhm.
And they would write songs like Dead Pope in the Road, I Want to Party with Hitler's Dog.
Wow. That's
There was a
That
band.
cuts right to the chase.
Yeah, really.
There was a band in the late
missed you there.
70s, and I had the cassette. They were called Root Boy Slim and
I
the
know.
Sex Change
Yeah,
Band.
I know that band.
And they had all these weird Mood Ring. They had another song
Boogie
called
Till You Puke.
Psoriasis.
Yeah.
That's a great name for a song right there.
It's
I mean, if we
great.
want to talk about the...
Have you heard of
the-
Boogie Till You Puke? It's pretty.
Somebody-
I know
I
I've
was
said
that
that
band.
to you in
Oh
the
my
band.
Okay.
Were
Yeah.
they on like Saturday Night Live or some show? They
I don't
played on
know.
like a variety show,
Could have been.
and it was awesome. And I know I
Don
said it to you
Kirshner's.
and
Maybe.
Tim. This is a long time ago when somebody told me about it. But
Well, it's. I think it's worth exploring like song titles because, you know, there's so many like times you see you pick up an album or record, you look at the back, read the song titles, and sometimes I'm like, man, these song titles are just dumb.
Yeah,
Or,
dude,
like,
we
they're like-
rocked you.
Right,
Rock
yeah,
on.
rock on. Or like, I
Rocking
love
the top.
you, love till I die, love till I
Well,
come.
listen, they're stating
well,
their
love till I
intentions.
come. That's
Yeah.
pretty good, but
It's a manifesto.
yeah, if you're rocking on, you're just stating your
Yeah.
intentions.
You know,
it's your
but-
manifesto. You're doing it.
I think there is something to be said for having a song title that.
But I
catches
also
you
think
off
it's
guard,
like I
you
would
know?
say it's the lure to bring fans in, but then if you don't deliver the music,
Sure, it
you
can
know,
suck,
it's
and
like
that's-
okay, these guys. The song titles are funny, but that's about it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, Greg wrote a song called Trailer Romance.
Yep.
Trailer
That's a
Romance.
fun song. Yeah, it's like a riff on the whole rural love thing. Like go out on one date. Okay, let's get married. You know that is sort of stupidly exaggerated. But
Should we cover it? Should we cover
Yeah, we could
Yeah.
probably learn it if you want to send it to us.
that's a country type
Oh,
song.
perfect.
But
Did you grow up in the country?
What's that?
Did you grow up in the country?
No.
I grew up 2 streets away from where I am now, over
Okay.
by Rochester General.
Nice.
That's what makes it authentic.
But I went
Yeah.
out with people from Palmyra and things like that.
Okay.
So
I
kinda
knew a
got
lot of country people when I
sense of
lived in Alexandria. 'Cause like when you get to Virginia, it's like sort of you go down farther south, different states.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well,
And
you don't
I
have to
would
go
see
far
both-
for that. I mean,
would
I
s-
grew up in rural northern New York. Billy grew up in Tully, which is pretty rural.
Pretty rural.
At least
Everybody
he
was married by
He
the
was
time they were
closer to like a
21.
major city, though. We were like 2 hours away from any metropolitan.
When I was like
area.
North Country.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When I was like traveling from like down in Virginia, though, you'd see like these bumper stickers, either you're redneck or you're shit. And I'm like, well, I
True.
can start going back up. You know?
Yeah. I mean,
Some shit.
Oh, and
Yeah.
there's some stuff like
Got
I,
some
like I said,
piece
I
of shit,
travel a lot for work on the highways and byways of New York. Those small towns.
Oh yeah.
When you get the signs about, get rid of the SAFE Act and
Oh, yeah.
those with the giant bowling pins.
Out of my cold dead hands and all
Yeah.
that shit.
Fuck Cuomo,
Fuck
spelled out
Cuomo.
machine
Oh,
gun.
that was
Yeah.
like you could have like
or
a
whatever they
contest
are.
about, okay, how many signs you going to say with that on the way up?
I was in a bar and I saw this guy's T-shirt and I took a picture of it. I was glad he didn't see me take because he was sitting with his back to me. It said, "Keep calm and carry guns" or something like that.
Great. Now you're wanted by
mantra.
Indonesia because of the diplomatic incident with Indonesia. Now you're wanted by some guy.
Yeah.
But how do you not talk about like these songs? Like, is it sort of cart before the horse, or is it both? Where you think some witty title comes to your mind, like "Hot Hot for Hagar" or something.
That was a title. That was a title before the song existed. It doesn't.
But did the titles come first or the song?
Both.
The Beans or the Franks?
It's like, but the thing is, like, the title is just.
Beans in the fry.
The title is. I don't want to dismiss the title because "Hot for" that's a great title. I'll toot my own horn, but yeah, it was just more of a clever thing that stuck, and then the song really has nothing to do with Van Hagar or being hot for teacher or whatever, you know,
Or Cabo Wabo.
or Cabo Wabo or whatever. It's just a hook, I guess. But
Yeah.
it really depends. Like a lot of times the song is first, then we all keep probably notebooks.
Well,
and
I mean,
things,
I've
and
said
just
we-
like I have a notebook of just funny titles you think of or things that would work. And
You know what it reminds me of? Rowdy Roddy Piper.
I love Rowdy Roddy.
Because all the stuff, like, it turns out you always don't want to know too much about your heroes. Like, it's just when you think you know the answer, I changed the question, or any of the great. He had notebooks full of sayings,
Oh yeah.
so it wasn't ad-libbed, but it's still great.
Well, I have a
Scholar, that, Roddy.
I have a feeling that his line in "They Live" was
Isn't
probably
it sad
written
I
for
know
him.
that?
No, I
That's
think it's
Listen,
great you know
if you
that.
want to talk wrestling, I'll talk wrestling all day.
Oh, I could too. That's
I mean, I grew up on all that early or late '80s wrestling, Honky Tonk Man, fucking Junkyard Dog, Jake the Snake. Ultimate Warrior came along, blew everyone's mind.
Yeah.
And you knew even at 8 years old he was roided hard. Like he just looked like they should have called him Ultimate Roider because
Yeah.
I went to one at the War Memorial once.
Did you?
Man, it
I
was
never went to a
amazing.
live event.
People
Was it cool?
they were throwing chains at the ring. Here, use this,
Really?
Like,
No
yeah,
shit.
it's crazy shit.
No, it was still because the whole idea of still keeping a
Pre-metal
lot of people
detectors.
freaked out.
Yeah, okay.
Well, they started that whole thing too, bringing signs like later in like the Raw era of WWF, where it's just like the most ridiculous things, like Stone Cold eats corn the long way, or like it's just like shit like that. It has
all
no
connected. I mean,
bearing
yeah.
on anything, but it's just like
I have
insults to the
theater
issue.
friends on, and that
great
applies
entertainment.
to music too. You could, because wrestling is like performance.
It is
you,
theater.
You learn how to get
Oh, yeah.
you learn how to get emotions out.
And it
of
rides
Eddie
this
Van-
fine line of like sport and theater and emotion. There's a bad guy, there's a good guy. What more do you want? Like it's like
Perfect.
the ultimate.
Perfect American.
Yeah, that's-
I want to deal with that with that toilet seat.
Right.
There was one
Like
I'll
the
never
lid.
forget. Growing up, there was it had Dick the Destroyer Bayard. He had a mask on. Some guy hit him over the head with a garbage can. But his dedication was he came back the next week. He had a big Band-Aid around his mask. That's
great.
dedication.
That's
so I
funny.
always say, we really don't talk politics. I mean, you can if you want, but I'm going to bring up, since we've mentioned the song, the biggest political divide in America. How do you feel, either Roth Van Halen or Hager Van Halen?
That's no.
I mean, why are we here discussing this? If you don't know the answer,
Roth.
then you don't
Obviously.
deserve a podcast.
Gary Sharon, right?
Gary Sharon.
That's
Yeah,
his
Sharon.
answer.
Sure.
No, it's Roth.
Yeah.
Roth was on stage with Teddy Swims the other day, and they interviewed him
that.
for the Los Angeles Times, and that was the first time I think I saw Roth up close in a number of years. Where I was like, wow.
I love his sense of humor and his
Yeah.
whole he's a very intelligent guy.
Oh, yeah.
Really, and
He's
he knows a lot
theatrical.
about
The
it.
cigarettes
one of
have
one,
definitely
man. He's so unique.
his complexion. I was like,
But I watched a couple of things. I bought this Burning in Buenos Aires or something as
Yeah.
a DVD. I mean, that's the early stuff, you know.
Oh, Van Halen?
Unchained and all that
Oh,
stuff.
probably
yeah.
awesome.
Oh,
I mean,
rips.
that early stuff they killed it. They crushed it. I mean,
They're so awesome.
it's not as controlled as the studio, of course, but they just go bananas.
Billy and I were talking about live records the other day. How I really do love listening to live records because it does. There's a certain volume and feeling that you get of hearing those bands live. Like we're
Yeah.
talking about the Who and like Zeppelin live stuff and just a whole bunch of other stuff and Hendrix. And there's just another dimension to it that is not like canned studio, even though the studio albums are fantastic, but just having that that performance.
I put it this way. I read Don Felder's book, and he said that Don Henley called Don Henley the guano bat.
Really?
And he said that you had to play everything note for note, like on
he's
the
a
album.
stickler for that.
And I remember like going to see Black Oak, Arkansas.
Wow,
at the
Jim
festival
Dandy.
tent. Jim Dandy was drunk and fell off the stage, and people are looking at me like, "Oh, you must have been pissed." I go, that was great.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that
I
whole-
can listen. I can listen
to the album,
To the
whatever.
album. I want to see when I go to a show. I don't want to just hear the. I want you to.
Well, he was like
I
the
want an
prototype for
experience.
David Lee Roth. Like,
Yep.
if you look
Yeah.
at the two of them, they were like basically similar. But yeah,
assless
point.
chaps,
Right.
horsetails.
Plus,
I mean,
also think,
David brought the kung fu.
I think
and
Jim
yeah,
Dandy was like
4-foot jumps.
Yeah. But I also
splits and
think like,
swords and shit and
like
popping
Jim
balloons on
Dandy,
stage.
though, he
and
just stole from
jump kicks.
pro wrestlers, like we talked about.
Right? Yeah, there you
That's
go.
all he really
yeah,
did.
just theater of that. Yeah,
But that's what I love to see live shows. I want to see the unexpected. I'm still pissed at Steven Tyler for being sober at all the shows I saw. I heard all the stories. Or like my brother saw The Doors. He saw Jim Morrison. Jim Morrison didn't do anything. I'm like, that sucked.
well, yeah. You're also putting an expectation on there
Yeah.
on artists though too. Like that's
Yeah.
not fair because they're going to do what they want to do. But I get the idea of like, wow, what's going to happen?
The
So
elements
there's
of
that.
danger.
Yeah, there is that sense of like, holy shit, this might be the one where Jim fucking freaks out and pulls his pants down again or whatever. But whatever.
You guys don't get any ideas.
If you
Wow.
ever
No,
have
we're safe as
toured-
We're
milk.
pretty
Over here.
sober dudes. We're not,
If you ever
maniacs.
have toured a lot, though, you kind of can, or play a lot, you kind of, like I did road stuff, but you have shitty days.
Road stuff.
And-
That sounds
Yeah.
question.
Yeah.
I've done some.
And
did some
Roadhead.
road stuff.
yeah.
How did you like that, Alex?
Yeah, I found it on the road. And I did it. No, but you have crummy days, and you still gotta somehow put on an act, so to speak. You gotta. The people expect something. You can't just. Well, I don't feel like giving it my all tonight, so I'm not gonna.
Oh, and
can't
you
You
do
got
that.
to put on a character
Yeah.
in a way.
Yeah, you
And
really
you could
do.
tell I've been to shows where like this is like me, like Crocus. I'll call you out. You don't want to be there. You don't want to be there.
Saw
I know you
Crocus
didn't wanna
live?
be-
Wow.
Yeah, they
That's
opened
cool.
for Def
Rich,
Leppard, and they
The
opened.
rich.
That's what I remember.
But that's a point about being
They
on the
cover
road
schools
too.
out.
And I asked actually Alex Cote about it last time I saw him about touring, and I said, "How's it?" He's like, "Well, beats a regular job." But I think I would love that. Now these days, for me, a road trip is if I go see you play in Fairport.
Yeah.
That's a road trip. But before, I would go to Albany. I would go to I saw Jason Isbell. I took a trip to New York City.
Wow.
But I think you have to get the mentality that you're playing, it's always a different audience, and, they want your best. They don't care that you just drove 8 hours and your tire broke.
Right. Right, yeah. No, that's.
So have you traveled a lot, Alex, for like shows? Some?
Unfortunately, yes.
Well, what are your thoughts on that?
I don't like touring.
See, I
I
don't
don't like traveling. And I've done some big stuff in the past, and I would never do it again.
See, when I was like in my 20s, I loved like driving around doing all that. And it got even for work. I just got sort of tired of doing it. Like even coming to the studio now, as far as I go.
I would say it's definitely like once my 30s hit, I was like, I like being at home.
And I told people I traveled a lot, and I said, do it when you're young, because you're not going to have the energy or the enjoyment or crazy international relations like we have now.
Unfortunately, I didn't get to do it until my 30s. I was already like, oh, I wish I'd done this 10 years before
That's kinda
because
what
I
I
don't
did
like
too,
it
like
now.
middle
No, see, I don't either.
Yeah.
You know, and I try to tell friends, I try to make it out. I have some issues about driving at night now. You know, I try to get out
Yeah.
when I can. But you guys are playing the Lilac Fest, right?
Yeah.
right.
Yep.
Cool.
Yeah.
You don't even have to cross the river for that.
You have to cross the river.
I do.
We're
Okay, I park like on Clinton and I walk.
What day?
we're on Saturday, May 16th.
Afternoon.
We're on in the
Slot.
afternoon at I
Okay.
think 1 p.m.
Yep.
Cool.
It's
All right,
awesome
I'll
that they're
make that one.
considering, a band of our ilk because
Caliber.
I feel like we're a little on the rockin' side. But it's also a testament to their expansion of artists because,
Well, you're not Rusted Root. That's all.
well, yeah. It's funny.
Send me on my way.
I've told my friends, I have been in situations where I've opened up for Rusted Root in Syracuse and Rochester 3 or 4 different times since 2010.
Wow.
Yeah, right? It's like,
Really?
and when I was first dating my wife, like, I was trying to, sound like the cool musician, and I was like, hey, I'm playing in this band at the Westcott Theater in Syracuse. We're opening for Rusted Root. It's sold out. I can get you on the list. She's like, why don't you call me when you're done? And I was like, oh, I really like you now, so... Yeah.
You know, I think you can't win because I've seen complaints about the lineup. Other people like it. I
no
think,
interest.
You know, you should really I really dig that there's a lot of a lot of local bands I know and I think people have to keep their mind open to music.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
And,
I think it's great that they're putting more local bands on because, I mean, it's a local festival, and having bigger acts is great. People come, and a lot of times people just go and they're just like, oh yeah, okay, this band. They may not even know who they are.
There's
but-
background music.
But yeah, that's what it is. Festivals, I feel, are like the kind of the worst way to experience music, obviously, because it is just people picnicking or putting, fucking now at the Lilac Festival, financing new windows or shit. It's just like
Those hot tubs are going to be selling while we're playing.
That's why I
And
like
those
the
candy
Gucci
apples are
thing,
going to taste
getting
delicious.
churros and shoving
I'm
them
going to
in
be
your face,
sitting
which
in
is
a
cool.
hot tub on stage.
But
Yeah, so we actually got the jacuzzi company to give us a hot
sponsor
tub.
on
That's gonna be
stage. That'd be fucking awesome.
We're going to keep it empty so nobody gets electrocuted, but we hope to
great
sell them
idea.
4 or 5 of them while we play.
No Stone the Crows, hopefully.
No, right? I've read that story. That's freaking wild, man. That guy, have you ever heard of that band?
No.
I have.
Fucking guy got electrocuted playing guitar on stage and was
What
killed?
band was it?
Stone the Crows.
They- they-
The
Led
woman
Zeppelin
was
was about
Maggie
Swan
Bell, I
Song.
think.
Yeah,
Was
Maggie
the singer.
Bell.
Okay, yeah,
Right.
all right. Maggie Bell, who sang on Zeppelin 4?
Yep.
Sandy Denny.
Sandy,
Sandy
yeah.
Denny.
Maggie might have been like a
She was like
song
a
signing.
background singer on a lot of
Yeah, Battle
English
of Evermore,
records.
I think.
Battle, yes,
Yeah.
yes. Sandy
Yeah.
Denny.
But no,
Wow,
and I think
crazy.
just go out and experience. I was really sort of upset one year. A couple of my friends were playing, and I hear, one of the so-and-sos who are headlining. We were like, whatever. If you like that, you like it. It's like, stay and listen. These are the best musicians.
Yeah. Well, the day we played, there's this guy called J.D. McPherson playing, who I really
Oh,
like.
he's great. Yeah.
Oh, never heard of him. Never heard of him.
Oh,
No,
sorry.
no.
Oh, yeah, he's
I
a
know, I know
Rochester
his drummer.
so-
His drummer's a friend of mine.
Oh, Jason, yeah. His music's great. I took my family and kids to see his Christmas performance at the Temple Theater.
Sucks.
It was awesome. It was
Yep.
so fun.
You know what I think
Yeah.
is happening too? Sorry to interrupt.
No, you're fine.
I think the people that are booking things now are a new generation.
Yes.
And they're a little more educated and a little more. They don't want to hear your father's bands.
Send me on my way.
Yeah.
They want to
Kinda play it.
Send them on their way.
Let's
Yeah,
open
so
it up
long.
a little bit and they have a better feel for what people want now.
And I think things like this are a good opportunity to put a lot of different types of music
yeah.
out there. I mean, you can have all sorts of different bands. It does lean towards that very middle of the road, folky, soft type stuff or whatever, but
It kind of has to.
It does. I
appeal
get
to
it.
the
You
widest
gotta
group of people.
Yeah, for
But-
that situation, yes.
yeah, it's all about the kind of what they're trying to do with what they have.
I
They
was
get it,
actually
so.
thinking of weird pairings, and I always go back to I lived near Drive-In. They had the Sentinels and the Rescuers, which is like a devil worship movie, now a Disney movie. But I was thinking, now playing at the Lilac Fest, the Ginger Faye Bakers with Up With People.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
It's good. Community. We're all one.
Do a collaboration with that.
I would do that.
I'm stoked for the Hoochie because they're going to have Cracker and
I saw that. It's a pretty solid lineup.
Morning Jacket.
My Morning Jacket's playing,
That's
Modest
going to
Mouse.
be a good show.
Yeah, great band.
Last year with you.
Fortunately, not going to be around for that, but We'd love to check that out some
Talk
year.
about how many.
I got
Talk a little
great
bit about
practice.
your albums, you guys CDs, albums you've done head out.
We've done like 2.5. So we made a record called Feast in 2013.
Good picture of a
Came out.
kitty on it.
Yeah, it was our
Bruce.
friend Mike's cat, yawning, looking pretty fierce. A couple of years after that, we made a second album called Smoke Signals with Steve Rosner in town, and then we kind of digressed into some other bands. Nate and I and Tim from the Bakers play with our friend Mike in a group called Loose Zeus that's been more on than off for the last few years. Nate was in a project called CD-ROM with Mike and people from Green Dreams and some other acts for a while. Again, Alex has been playing with us since like the Northern Spies days, so we'll fast forward.
And pre-COVID. Remember we played
COVID happened. Everybody
Yeah,
was.
we tried this right before COVID.
Yes,
right,
we did.
before
So it was like we
Took a
played
while
one
to
show,
derail it.
I think a week
I know.
before Christmas, and then COVID happened. But Nate and I were kind of secretly getting together with Tim and recording all the songs we had. So we put out a record called Camaro in 21. 21. That was 5 songs. And now we're gearing up to put out some new music, hopefully this summer. We're kind of getting away from the whole 10 to 12 song album just for attention spans, but I think we have 7
That's
or 8
probably
that
good
are...
singles.
Yeah, we like singles, but then we also, I know Nate will say the same, and you too, Alex, we like a body of work.
Yeah.
And,
But no one's going to listen to it now.
yeah, hopefully they will. I'm still
5
optimistic that my brother and, my friends will listen to it.
My parents will listen.
Yep.
I used to do like some shows about how COVID affected everybody, and I always said, "Okay, I have my time. By golly, I'm going to write like 4 novels. I'm going to write another film script." I ended up forgetting to take my socks out of the laundry, basically.
Yeah.
And I would hear some bands. One of the funny things, actually, going back to Ben and Katie, when Katie would do live streams,
2022.
and she would be
she tried to
on
do
the
those.
side, and she'd be like upside down,
Yep.
which was awesome.
It was funny for us because when we came out of COVID, we've been a band for a pretty long time. We haven't been fully active the whole time, but we've been seeing each other and hanging out the whole time. But my impression was coming out of COVID and playing those like first gigs for 21 and 22, the attendance had gone up because there was a combination of people wanting to get out, and then on the other hand, you had this younger generation because we're aging and we're like, wow, look at this. There's all these
There were
young people
I had
here,
never met before,
and we've
I'm
never
like,
seen them.
For
It
years,
felt
it
very
was the
foreign
thing.
to me.
We played the Bug Jar live. It was all the same people every gig, friends or people we knew or people would come. So to see new faces was like, oh, wow.
Yeah.
I'd actually hit
Now
me
we're
like
the
that,
old
too,
guard.
because at a time, and I actually was at the Bug Jar the first day it opened, it was a different kind of bar before that. But a friend of mine lived on Priam, and we went to Woody's. We're like, hey, there's a new place. He goes in there, you got to see this place. Then I moved away from Rochester and came back. But my first Bug Jar show after that, it's like, okay, it starts at 9 o'clock. I get there, and it's like, where's the band? It's like,
Bug Jar time, baby.
Yeah, no kidding.
But I remember
its own time slot.
I
Yeah.
said that the day that I used to say to Grimy, I remember the day I would walk in here, I would know everyone. Now it's like
anymore.
basically I know the band, I know you, I know Bobby, I know Oz,
Yep.
maybe one person.
Shout out to Bobby T.
Yeah.
Shout out to Grimy too, man. He's
Yeah,
always been
Grimy's
great
the
for
best.
us in
Yeah,
terms of
Grammy's
sound.
always been really cool.
He loves Black Sabbath as much as us, so we always have a discussion about sabotage or technical ecstasy. And
I mean,
I like that
Okay,
guy.
given what you do, have you ever heard of, seen the band Max Sabbath?
yes.
Mhm.
Yep.
Yep.
For
I
those
love
of
to
They
you,
haven't been
that,
around in a minute, have they?
they played Ironworks, I think, last year.
Oh, they're
Did
still
they?
doing it then.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay, cool.
But they're like one of those I just started. But the last one of the things I said to Grimy was, finally they did the floor. I was afraid if I fell down, I'd catch syphilis in the floor.
Right. Wait, it wasn't. Who's the band that did the? It was like Beatles but Metallica style.
Metallica.
Yeah, I saw them live like
Wow. I
20
didn't know
years
that.
ago.
You can get. I saw
They're
the
funny.
CDs at Archive. They're plugged for Archive if you want to go pick one up.
Oh,
Greg.
really?
That sounds good. I like that mashup stuff.
How is it? This is a question. I go back again to studio work, and I don't want to mean this in a bad way, but like if you listen to something from the 70s, so I would say this sounded local. Now it sounds no, but it did though, like the production and
Yeah.
everything. And I'm not trying. You did what you could.
Yeah.
But now it sounds all professional. How's your impressions? How do you like working in the studio and doing albums, working on albums?
Well, we we've recorded in studios, and then I don't know, probably almost 10 years ago now, we finished out the basement of my home. So we have a very small room. It's probably like 12 by 16, but it's perfect for recording as long as we do it in an isolated setting. And we're all into the digital age. We were definitely hesitant on doing it ourselves, but I think the more you work in studios, the more you're like, I know I can do this. I just have to start collecting.
I just love all. I saw all of you looking all over our little gadgets.
Yeah, well, we come in here and we're like, sweet, like, oh, they have
We're
this.
all
and we
like,
have
well, this
that.
doubles
Heads
as
with
Yeah.
all that
this
stuff.
doubles
we
as a
could sit here and talk
UFO.
about
We
gear
like
all
flying
day.
around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I want to make sure I get to, because I've seen some friends do it like you were just very nonchalantly. Oh yeah, we had a song on a TV show. And how did that come about? If you shamelessly don't mind talking.
Well,
Nice pun, man.
you want to take that one?
Sure. So there was a fella named Bobby. What was his last name?
Merrifield.
Bobby Merrifield. Shout out to Bobby Merrifield. He's like a sync agent, was they call him, and he was just looking at I don't know, the vastness of the internet and found our song "Hot for Hagar." He's a huge Van Halen fan.
That's how I found it.
That's how we found it, because I've talked to him on the phone a few times. Bill, I know you've talked to him too, but we would talk for maybe business or things for about 2 minutes, and the other 40 minutes would be about Van Halen.
Yes.
Van Halen, so which is fine, but but he found the song and just was like, I loved, we thought it was a gag at first, or a
he
scam.
like cold called me or emailed or something.
Yeah, and it was just kind of like, what? Like, fuck off. Like, what do you...
That's actually like what we got for like being on radio. I'm like, nah, right.
Yeah, right?
Sure, yeah. So anyways, Billy followed through, because I probably wouldn't have. I would just, my natural feeling, well, at least then, I'm a little better now with therapy, but I would have been like, fuck this, I'm not doing it, But,
Thought somebody was pranking you.
yeah, and so, and then it just was like, yeah, no, it's legit, and
Yep.
and then we had a whole bunch of songs. I don't remember how many now, but
I think he took,
That's great.
it was almost like a dozen between that and a second show he was working
yeah, there's a
on.
couple other shows.
It's funny, though, because, Bobby, he's an awesome sync agent. He's got probably a roster of 50 different artists. I would be sending him Rochester music all the time, and he was like, listen, I don't want to sound offensive or whatever. This is awesome for this reason, but it does not specifically fit into this box that my supervisor is looking for. And now, this was probably 5-6 years ago, and we had this. I mean, we still have a relationship. We still talk to him, but
keep trying.
he's working on pilots that are not hitting or not getting picked up or whatever. And it's funny because it's like feast or famine for everybody,
Yeah.
And he's in Los Angeles teaching at like MIT and doing, the whole educational angle. But his dream is really to just, have a roster of groups that he can feed out here, there, and everywhere for movies and television or whatever it is. But it's great to have a relationship with a guy like that. It's great that there's somebody who's that much of a Van Halen head that they're like on the 7th page of Google and they see Hot for Hagar and click the link because they like the song title.
And once again, going back to song titles, I mean, that's what grabbed him.
I believe in serendipity, because there's so much out there, and I think that's one of the problems now. Like years ago, you were happy with one TV show, one ketchup, stuff like that.
Yeah, right.
Now there's just overload.
So many choices. Yeah, I know.
Overload.
I find that problem all the time. I have a huge collection of VHS tapes in my basement, and there are guys, I'm going to go watch a movie, and I go down there, and I'm looking at the wall. I'm like, what the fuck am I going to watch?
You just got to start from the top.
That's happened to me. I hit the wall.
Touch the wall with my finger. Okay, yep.
I hit the wall last year.
Speed again? Okay. Yeah.
I hit the wall last year like that because I flat out don't know what I'm going to watch, and I've got a whole video library.
That's the 2-minute one.
But this has been really fun. This is time flies and everything else. And thanks, because Alex, you're coming up with a show. I don't know how I remember this one for some reason.
That's good because I barely remember it. Yeah.
Make sure you show up.
What's the date, Alex?
Yeah, it's Alex. It's 25th.
25th. Whatever the Saturday.
Saturday
with the Darling Tone.
At the Bug Bar with the Darling Tone.
Oh, yes.
Wow. Be cool.
Yeah. Billy plays bass in that band.
Yep. That's a fun challenge for me.
And one of you would like to valet park my car for the show. I will give you a couple dollars.
Tim, who's not here
we'll
today,
have
is
Sam
actually
do
going to
that.
be Tim offered because he couldn't be here today. He said he would valet park.
Okay.
Oh,
Hold
great.
the sign up.
And
Podcast.
he's going to do it at the festival too. He's going to do valet
Yeah.
parking.
And play bass. He's going to have one of those.
But always, and I
Wireless. Steinberger with a wireless.
Always on the show,
gonna
whenever
look
I
cool.
have bands on anything, It really, they might hate me for it hit me with a pie in the face, but it's always my stamp of approval. You have to see this band. They're really fun. Seriously. You have to see Alex's work. It's really good. And you're playing a song at the end. Well, you can pay me afterwards, for saying all this stuff. But we always do a song at the end. You want to surprise them, or you want to sing a song?
Let's surprise everybody.
So here it is. No.
Okay, first pack of Juicy Fruit gum to the person who gets the title before they say it once they get it.
I could always use a pack of Juicy Fruit gum. I think that's a great incentive.
Okay, how about Fruit Stripe?
They don't make that anymore.
They really don't.
No.
What, a vintage pack?
Yeah.
New old stock?
Yeah, we could find one of those.
On that, I don't think
It's got to
we
be
can
an
say...
estate sale with well, that too. Yeah.
I don't
eBay
think we
will
can say
have
anything
collectors.
more profound than talk about Fruit Stripe gum, so we're out of here. Thanks a lot.
that. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.